Hey guys, hi. My name is Odunayo Eweniyi, and I'll be taking you through this class. And it's basically how to leverage technology for your business. Now, there's different ways to leverage technology for your business, but since you guys are inside the She Leads Africa Accelerator program, I thought I'd also kind of add a level of investor readiness to you guys leveraging technology to like promote your businesses. Introductions. I'm Odunayo Eweniyi and I'm co-founder and chief operations officer at PiggyVest. And I hope you really find something to take out of this lesson. I will just like jump right in. What do I do? Like I said, I work in operations at PiggyVest, and what we've done is use technology to disrupt the current wooden boxes, colo, if you will. What we did was basically create a digital colo on the internet and then use tech to kind of scale it. And today we have almost 400,000 users in Nigeria with very little to no advertisement. And you can do it too. And the point at which your product finally starts to pull is also the time at which you're ready for investors. So I hope all of this comes together for you by the end of the lesson. Now, I went through a program called Village Capital when we were starting out, and Village Capital essentially takes young startups through investment readiness programs. And in those programs, they really force you to take like a really deep look at your business. How is it? Is it working out? Are you like pretty self-aware about the point in your business that you are in? Are you telling yourself the truth about the state that your business is in? So that's what we're going to do here. Now, there are 9 levels in your business, and there's like one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, also 9 parts of your business that you need to like take very, very, very good care of. As I provided SLA with the worksheets that we're going to use during this lesson, and I hope that you're able to follow along, right? So you have a sheet there that says team, problem and vision, value proposition, product, market, business model, scale, and exit. Right now, I think those are 8 parts, very key parts of your business, and those are the parts in which you'll be properly examining, like for your business during this lesson. Right, number one is the team. That typically is asking you very deep questions like, do you have a team that's ready to go? If you're an early stage business, like I'm sure most of you are, what investors are likely to be attracted to the most is your business, your team, the people. Who are they? What do they know? And are they ready? Number two is the vision, the problem and the vision. If you have a team that's ready to go, do you have a vision that you're excited about? And do you have a vision that other people can be excited about? Maybe you don't even have revenue yet, but is the direction of the business catchy enough for someone else to want to buy into it? Those are the questions you have to answer under problem and vision. Now, product, validating your product. Does anyone want your product or your service? Is it easy? Is it seamless? Does it solve a problem? Does it improve upon the current way of doing things? Is it adding an extra layer of complexity? Or is it making it extremely easy to do something that has previously been done before? Or are you disrupting a new frontier? But the most important question is, do people want your product or your service? The first thing is the market. After you validated your product or your service and people want it, do you have your market defined? Do you know who your market is? Do you know how many they are in the market that you're targeting? For instance, you know how everyone like quotes their market stats as, hey, Nigeria is 200 million people. But your market isn't really 200 million people, because in Nigeria we have 100 million people who are living in extreme poverty, which means they're living on less than $1 a day. So can you really say your market is 200 million people? Or in reality, is it just 2 million people? And how are you going to attract that market? How are you going to penetrate it? What services are you going to use? What social media platform? What advertising strategy? How are you going to attract their attention? And the fifth thing is your business model. Let's say you now have your market in place, you have your product in place. Maybe you even have a revenue model and you're making, and how are you going to make money? What model are you at? Is it subscription? Is it SaaS? Is it B2C where you sell a service? Is it commission based? Is it asset under management? What exactly is going to be your revenue model? That's the entire thing. There's no investor that is going to drop money for a service that doesn't have a business model. And if users want your product and you're not making money from it, then that's a failed business. And the last thing about it is it tech enabled? Because you cannot call yourself a tech business and you cannot leverage your business using tech if you're not solely built on a foundation that's tech enabled. Tech makes everything easier, and the future is technology. So, how are you incorporating that into your business, and how is it helping you make more money for your investors? Now, getting the product to the customers, I think that will be your skill. Now, how are you going to scale? How are you going to get the product? How are customers accessing the product? Is it via mobile, Android, web, iOS? How, right? Is it manual? Because then are you really solving a problem? Is it web based, and is it easy? Does your site load very fast? Is it light enough not to take too much data from Nigerians, because data is actually really expensive here? You know, how exactly are you getting your leads? You know, do you get, like, are they accessing you through their phones or their laptops? Must a person have a smartphone, or can they use feature phones to access your product? Those are the things you need to look at when looking at your product market fit side. And the eighth thing is scale. Now, it's fine if we want to run lifestyle businesses and mom and pop shops, but that's not why we're here. We're here because a lot of us want to build million, billion-dollar businesses that are serving people and are making actual huge impact. You see the likes of Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, they're like being talked about all world over, and that's really what most of us tech entrepreneurs are aspiring towards. So, is there a plan for scale? Does your business serve multiple customer segments, geographies, or sectors? Or if it serves just one, is that sector likely to grow? Is that geography enough to give your investors 2x, 3x, 10x their investment? Is your revenue growing above the current industry standard? Is your customer base growing? What's your MOM growth and stuff like that? That is scale. You can go from serving just Lagos to serving Nigeria. That's scale. You can go from serving Nigeria to serving West Africa. That's scale, right? And then the last thing is exit. Now, you've scaled, right? You're number one, number two in your business. What next? How do your investors get paid back? Because they're not giving you money from the goodness of their hearts. They're giving you money because your business has promised to make them multiples of that money. Now, how? There's two ways or three ways that like a business can exit right now: a merger a merger with a larger company, an outright acquisition by a larger company, or an IPO, right? Those are the ways that you can begin to pay your investors back, right? So, what are you planning for your business? And how many exits has your sector seen? How many types of your kind of businesses have been acquired? What are your plans for that exit? Do you understand? So, now we will now go through the stages, and that's where your worksheets come in. I'll explain from each of them: for team, for problem and vision, for value prop, market, model, product market fit, scale, exit. And then you now have to rate yourself from like level 1 to 4. So there's 9 levels, right? So you have to rate yourself. What level do you really fall under? Where are you on like the scale of team, for instance? Are you at level 1? Are you at level 2? Are you at level 3? Up to 9. And then you talk about the potential and the current return of investment on your position on each of the different points. So now, team level 1. Level one at its base is: do you have a strong founding team? At least two people with differentiated skill sets. Now, it's really cool to go into your business as a solo founder, but Can you do everything? You need help. The most successful teams are the ones that have many founders, or no, not many. Okay, sorry, not many, because like many can lead to like a lot of different problems. But like are the ones that have 2 to 3 founders who are doing very distinct, very different roles within the company and know what they're doing. Are you guys strong and versed in the vision of the company and in the product and in the field in which you're launching in? If so, then you're level 1. Now, um, for level 2 is, does your team have senior members with lived experience of the problem and or deep understanding of your target user's problem? Now, after level 1, you have a strong team that's passionate, right? But as your company grows bigger, you realize that you need to be able to also have more experienced people on the team who understand the problem that the company is trying to solve. At some point you're just 3 people, the founding team, and then you add one more person, and then you add 2 more people, and then you have 3 more people until you are able to expand to solve your customers' problems. At stage 2, that means you have team members with lived experiences who have a great understanding of the problem that you're trying to solve. Is your team that? Then you're at level 2. Level 3 is when the team has the technical ability to build a fully functional product and a clear understanding of the value chain and cost structures in their industry. Now, for level 1 and 2, you can be working with an MVP. But at level 3, your product has to have like been built out to solve end-to-end problems of your users, the value chain, right? And that means that your team includes coders, developers who are versed in their language and understand like the changing languages and landscape in programming, and also understand the vision that you're trying to solve and how specifically to use tech to solve those problems. Level 4 is your team having a clear understanding of how your target market operates and strong industry contacts. Now, I work in fintech, so when we started, we were 3, and then we reached level 2 where we added more members of the team, and start understanding that the problem went beyond just saving, and then we built version 2 of the product that had our like savings and investments. But at now we now started to understand that like our target market isn't really just millennials. So that's how you start to think about it if you have a level 14. You start with an MVP and a narrow market structure. Then as you grow, you start to realize that, hey, maybe this is my target market, or this is my secondary market and my tertiary market, and my primary market and all of that. And this also ties into how your team levels will be in the market. So I'll explain when we get to under market as well. But now you need to have a team that can think in structures and market structures, and then you need to start to build out a network. So do you have a team that has a solid network in the industry you're working in? If you're a healthcare startup, do you have HMO contacts? Do you have contacts in the Ministry of Health? Do you have contacts at like the decision making tiers of the country? Because as a level 4 team, you need to know that you can be regulated out of the market, right? And then level 5 is team having clear sales operations, understanding, and strategy. Now, sorry, I'm reading from my notes here, so I'm going to be doing a lot of looking back and forth. But so as a level 5 team, that means your team is now just sitting back having to draw in more users, right? Operations are going smoothly and sales are going smoothly because you understand the target market, you understand the problem, you have contacts, you have lived experience, and you have a solid strategy. Now, at level 6 is where you start to move beyond early adopters. Team has proven sales, product development skills, and management ability to support a growing team for scale. Look at the likes of Paystack, the likes of Flutterwave. They started to expand into other countries. So you can say that like Paystack is at a solid level 6 or maybe even 7. Flutterwave is expanding to Asia. So that means that they believe that their sales, product dev, and surrounding skills are solid enough to start to support a growing team across continents. So that means that they've built out their team against scaling and are now ready to take on new challenges. Level 7 is when you hit product market fit, right? Is your C-suite as good or better than the founding CEO? Now, at level 7, things start to get like very shaky. And most companies that are level 7 are about like maybe 6 to 7, 8 years old, where you begin to think, is the founding team the right team for the company? Right? I mean, it's a bit hard for a CEO to like admit that they might not be the best people to lead their company to the next level. But yeah, so are your current like team members the best that you can possibly get for your company? Can they take your company through its growth and exit phases? That's your like those are the hard questions. You start to ask yourself the hard questions if you're at level 17. And in level 8, your team is recognized as the market leader in the industry. Like, can people say, if we like want to point to healthcare, can they point to you? If they want to point to fintech, can they point to you? If you want to point to whatever, like, are you the first person that comes to mind? Is your team the most solid one that comes to mind? And level 9, your team is positioning to navigate the M&A and the IPO. So what level do you fall on? So in summary, each level has like a tagline. So for your team, are you just establishing the founding team, or are you already positioning for IPO, or are you somewhere in between? You need to write that down in your worksheet. And then talking about the potential or the ROI. If you are a level 1 team, does your team have the potential right now to move to, so like your ROI, right, is your level right now. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. Because you're early stage, you're likely between levels 1 to 4. So what is the level of your ROI right now, right now, right now? And now, your team, what's the potential of your team? Do they have the potential to be in the next level right now without you bringing in new people? Or when you bring in new people, can those new people you have your eyes on right now take you to the next level? So if you're in level 1 in ROI, do you also think that in potential you're level 2 or you're also level 1? Because then that determines how much work you have to do. So if you have questions, I'm sure the SLA team will find a way for me to get your questions. But we move on to the next phase: problem and vision. Level 1, the team has identified a specific, important, and large problem. I know it sounds cliche, but people always ask, is the problem you're solving a vitamin or a painkiller? So, is the problem large? Is it compulsorily solved? Right? Is your solution making it easier? Those are the kind of questions that you want to be answering with your that you want to be answering with your product. Is the problem specific, important, and large? If yes, and that's all, level 1. Level 2, the team can solve the problem and can articulate its vision at scale. What does the world look like if you succeed? So if you are at level 2 problem and vision, it means every single person on your team has achieved singularity of vision and understands the impact for the world. When you figure out, like if you do figure out the company and the problem you're solving and you scale, everyone on your team understands why your company has been formed, why you are doing what you're doing. Level 3, the company can articulate why they're the best ones to solve the problem. Investors ask this question all the time. Accelerators ask it, why you? Why are we listening to you? Why are you the best team to solve the problem? Why are you the one we should give money to? Why this problem and why you? Right? For instance, for Piggyverse, when we started in the early days, it's no secret that on our founding team, the three of us have an engineering background. And people used to ask why you are not and why not a team that has banking and finance background or investment banking background. And we had good answers to that question. And we went on to raise $1 million. So I think that you need to find good answers to that question. That's what you do at level 2. And like at level 3, sorry. At level 3, you need to be able to articulate why you are the best person to solve the problem. Everybody on your team understands the problem and why you want to do what you want to do. But level 3 is an external thing. Can you convince people that you're the best people to solve the problem? Can Piggyverse convince people that we're the best people for them to save their money with, and we're the best alternatives to every other saving method out there? That's the question you have to keep answering. Level 4, can the company articulate system level change? how your solution will transform the industry. Now, before we get into how it's tech enabled and all of that, why does the product exist? We've already gotten into like level three is you being able to convince people that you are the best people to solve the problem. Now, level four of your problem and vision is you being able to visualize and articulate how your product will revolutionize the industry. Now, again, as a personal example, we are a savings platform and we've changed completely, and we were the first to do it, how people save money in Nigeria. People now use us for automated savings. People are more disciplined. We've changed the habit of more than 400,000 Nigerians, and I'm incredibly proud of that. So, what is your own pride point? Why? How will you change the industry? If your company succeeds, what are people going to be say is the thing that you did to change everything for them? Level five, what is the evidence of the impact tied to the solution that you're offering? What is the evidence that your company has that by growing your business, you're solving the problem, right? For me, it's financial freedom, and it is evidenced by the thousands and thousands and thousands of stories that we have gathered on our testimonial platform from actual real people who have been impacted by the product. So, what's the data you have that when your product succeeds, you would have solved the problem for people? I have data. Do you? If you do, then you're at level five of your problem and your vision. Level six, impact is validated, right? So what now? If you have evidence that like you, this is the impact you will have, you then need to grow like large enough to validate that impact at scale. How many people have you solved this problem for, and how many people are publicly willing to say they solved this problem for me, right? And that's how you begin to convince investors of your business. Or we have 1,000 people who are ready to say we changed their lives for the better. Or we have 1,000 people who couldn't see doctors before, who can now see doctors from the comfort of their homes. Their healthcare is improved, stuff like that. Evidence and data. It's really important. Data is one of the most important parts of the 21st century. In 2019, data science is one of the most valuable professions. So that tells you how important evidence and data really has become, right? Level eight, system level change validated. Now, this is about the validation of your entire problem, right? Now, can people, without having to do research, see validation of the change that you brought? Like, Apple said they wanted to put music in the hand of everybody. Now, everyone who has an iPhone has everything in their hands. Snapchat was disappearing messages. Did they achieve it? Yes. Right? So, Apple, like when they wanted to do laptops, said they wanted to put the slimmest, sleekest laptops in the hands of everybody. I'm using an iMac now to record, and it as incredibly seamless as possible. So their change has been validated worldwide, Nigeria-wide, their market-wide, right? So at a level 8 company, for your problem and vision, you're at level 8 when everyone can obviously see that you've made the change that you set out to make. Now, level 9 is when you become the global leader in your stated vision. I don't think I have to explain what being a global leader in your vision is. You can look around and you find so many different companies who are now global leaders in the vision that they started to achieve. Apple being number one. See, BlackBerry had a stated vision, but did they become a global leader in it? No. Why? Because they didn't go back to check the evidence that they are changing, like evidence of the change that they had started with before. They didn't like refine the vision fast enough and quick enough to move with changing times. You need to do that with your vision. Number three now. So yeah, for problem and vision, what level are you in? Again, I think that for early stage businesses, it's number 1 to 4, and that's why your sheet state that. So I'll send the pathway to you, and then you can also read yourself. I've created it, and you guys will be able to see what level you're in for an informed decision. So for the potential, it's where can you be with this current team, with this current state, right? And the ROI is where are you right now on this level. Now, value proposition, like what is the value that you're offering to like your people, right? Why are people using you, right? What is the reason that a customer should use your product, right? Why? Okay, so level 1 for that will be, has the team identified their hypothesis of their target customer? the specific type of person whose problem you're solving. Right? Whose problem are you solving? Have you found them? Do you know what the problem is? Do you have a hypothesis, right? Like for say Andela started with solving the problem of talent, right? They wanted to put cheap talent in the market, and so they did by having by then going ahead to train um, young people in Africa to be able to fulfill those positions remotely, right? And foreign companies had access to them, right? So, do you have an hypothesis? Level one. Do you understand the specific type of person whose problem you're solving? Is it millennials? Is it Generation Z? Is it baby boomers? It's like really different kind of demographics out there. What age group, right? Level two, the team has potential customers who provide evidence that the solution solves their key pain point, that your product is a painkiller, not a vitamin, right? Is your product easier? Like what when we were young, they used to define a machine as something that saves time, energy, and resources. That's how you need to look at your business. Does your business save time, energy, and resources? That is what a painkiller is. So for your value proposition at level two, your business has to be a painkiller, not a vitamin. It needs to be enabling people to solve their pain, and not merely rubbing across it or a band-aid. Has to be a proper solution. Then you're at level two, and you have to have evidence from people that this is happening, right? Level three, evidence that people will pay your target price for your product. Now, it's easy to have people who say your problem solves their pain point. Because like if you go on Twitter and ask, guys, will you pay for a service that does this? You see people who in the post go, yes, 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 yes. But will they pay the price you are setting? Right? So let's say they want it, it's solving the pain. But now that's where so time, energy, and resources. Will they be willing to sacrifice those resources to get your product that saves them, like all these other things, right? You have to be able to convince people to do that. So if they will not, you've not yet achieved level three of value proposition at all. And level four is evidence of differentiation through initial target customer feedback, that the solution solve their problem significantly better than others in the market. Now, if you had like let me use Piggy event. So we created a digital platform now. Let's say we didn't. Let's say people were using wooden boxes, and then we came into the market with metal boxes, right? So that would mean that like we've solved the problem of you being able to throw your box on the floor and break it, right? But have we really solved the problem better than a wooden box? No, right? So what's the difference between a metal box and a wooden box? It's not that much. So we haven't achieved differentiation. And so anyone who is telling you, I can make you a metal colo and have it delivered to you, is saving your like energy, yes, but they're not saving you any time. And they're not saving you resources because everything is still the same. Right? So it's not different enough. So what's the difference between you and the previous way of doing things? That's what you need to be targeted at. That's your level four. When you're doing things better than the incumbent, right? Level five, target customers love the product and want to keep using it. Testimonials, right? Who are those like that love your product and are they willing to keep using it? So testimonials and surveys are the best way to know about this one, right? As a business owner, you need to understand that the testimonials and the surveys are the only evidence that can tell us that you've achieved full value proposition, or at least at level five. Level six is when you begin to sell beyond your initial target customers, right? So your target customer was like millennials, but then you know that your product has achieved insane level six product market fit when even old people try to use it. That's a humble brag. They do it for us already. And it's really interesting how we've seen people adopt the product. And this goes for most digital products. Once your product is great, people outside of the market that you were initially targeting actually start to use it. And that's level six. Level seven, majority of first sales in target market are inbound. Now, that means that your product is a pull, not a push. That means your product is pulling users towards itself and not you having to push the product to achieve users. I hope that's kind of clear. So, if they're all inbound, like people approaching you, then you've reached level seven value prop, because that means that your product is insanely appropriate for the market that you're targeting and the problem that you're solving. And so people are just attracted to it. It's sticky, right? Level 8 is multiple renewals with low sales effort. Customers in multiple market segments love your product now. So if you had a subscription service, say you sell food, right, and your method is that people subscribe to monthly, they pay monthly to subscribe to your service of delivering food to them. So now, if you realize that referrals are doing most of the work for you, and like your existing customers are referring people to the product and renewing their own subscriptions, you are at a level 8, regardless of anything, because then it means that you're not putting money on ads or sales or anything like that. The product is growing organically with very low sales efforts, and people are renewing it. And then people across the board, from office workers to self-employed people to housewives, are interested in buying your food. You have penetrated multiple market segments and you have a crushing level 8 business. Now, level 9 is when your product has achieved level 9 value prop, when you are cited as the top solution in the industry solving this problem, right? So, if you go online and say you want a CV ordering service, and like out of like 10 responses, 8 are your service, then you've achieved like crazy product market fit, because that means that people are already referring your product and you're being cited as the top person. And we need this to be global because, like I said, we're all kind of building global businesses. So from social media to offline, you need to make sure that your product market fit is tight, because that's the only way for your business to grow and scale. So now rate yourself. Where do you fall on product market fit? Where are you right now, and where do you think you can be with your next effort push? So your ROI is where you are right now. Your potential is, with your next push, what level do you think you'll get to? And because your worksheets are completely confidential, you need to be very honest with yourself, because then that's when you'll know what kind of effort you need to be able to grow and scale your business. Okay, next thing is the product, and this is where we talk about the tech of it all, right? Level 1, the team has the ability to develop low fidelity prototypes, that's an MVP, and has the freedom to operate and not blocked by other patterns. So it is your MVP. This is where you build your MVP now. This is the core of leveraging technology for your business, right? Now, can you build an MVP? Do you have a developer, right? Does your developer know how to code? Because that actually happens. Developers don't know how to code. So, let's not do that. Let's not even go there. So does your team have the ability to develop a minimum viable product, an MVP, that they can ship to the market for testing? And does it fly in the face of other registered patents or algorithms? If not, it's something that you can push into beta, into the market. That's a level 1 product, right? Level 2 is when your team has a basic prototype that solves the problem. You see, I want to really go into using tech to leverage your business, but the truth is, there is hardly any business right now that doesn't have to do with technology, right? Everything is on the internet, and technology isn't any one thing anymore. It isn't unique to anybody. Your whole business, everything you're doing, must have tech in 2019 for you to succeed. So, can your MVP solve the problem that you set out to do in your problem and vision? That is your level 2, right? Has your developer been able to develop a product that is bug free and that works at the minimum level? Version 1, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it does have to work for the user that you're targeting. That's level 2. Level 3, team has built a working MVP and a product roadmap. Now, I said it doesn't have to be perfect, but that means that for it to be perfect, you have to iterate. Where is the product going? What tech do you require to build it out for scale? How are you going to do that, right? If your product, okay, so I'll use Piggy as an example, and I'm sorry if it's getting repetitive, but this is the product I have the most experience with. So when we started, it was just a pure savings product, but we understood from the beginning that there was going to be savings automated, and then there was going to be savings manual, in your own control, and then there was going to be savings targeted, and then there was going to be investment treasury bills and controlled, and then there was going to be investment marketplace. We had that roadmap right from 2016, even though we're still at our version 0. So that's really important for your team as a product team. And all of the iterations of your product need to be able to save what? Time, energy, and resources. That's the ease. Those are the three, at least two out of three need to be done by your product for it to be considered a proper tech-enabled product. What is a machine? A machine is anything that saves human beings time, energy, and resources to do work, right? And that's what tech basically is, right? Can your product save me time and energy, or energy and resources, or resources and time, right? So what, like, why, does it solve my problem? If my problem is getting from point A to point B, how does your product help me do that? And if I do start using your product, does it also help me solve the problem of getting to point C and D and E? That's the roadmap, right? And so, level four for a product is, does the team have a clear understanding of the product development costs and how to build their initial product and the rest of it cost effectively? As a user and as an investor, this is really important because as a user, I don't want to start using a product that then disappears midway because the company ran out of money. And as an investor, I don't want you to waste my money building like tech that is just like clumsy and huge and useless, right? So cost effectiveness needs to be a very huge factor when building a tech business. Startups don't get as much cash in Nigeria as they do in the Western world. So we have to be very effective about how we plan it. So do you have the ability and understanding to build a product, right, that is cost effective, as well as a product roadmap that also will be cost effective to the investor, giving the maximum returns, right? Does your team have the ability to do that? Do you have the understanding, right? So that doesn't just involve developers. That involves having solid operators, solid accounting people, solid CEO, right? If you have that kind of team, then you are at the product level 4. Now, level 5, a fully functional MVP with completion, like as iteration of the product into its real form, like its final form in plain sight. Like, so if right now what you're presenting to me is an MVP, what's the next plan, right? When are you going to get to the full product? Because as an investor, if I decide to give you money now, I don't want you to be delivering the full product to me in 2 years. I need it to be something that is in the short term. As a user, if I tell you, oh, you're giving me just savings now, I need this, that, you need to be able to say, we're working on it and we'll deliver it before Q2 of next year, for instance. So is it in plain sight? And do you have a plan for commercial distribution? So this ties into your market and your business model. But as a level 5, across board, you need to be ready for wide commercial distribution from your product. Level 6, complete product with strong user experience feedback, right? So is your product complete? And are people using it and coming back to you with problems and solutions and what they want to see and what they don't want to see and all of that? Then you're at the product level 6. And when I say people using it, I don't mean a couple hundred people. I mean at scale, because a couple hundred people is technically a beta testing, right? Except you're a B2B business with a couple hundred like corporate clients, in which case, well done. But if not, a couple hundred clients is still testing phase. When you start getting to the thousands, then people are pushing your products to its limits, finding problems and letting you know how you can solve them. So do you have a product that is already complete and have strong scalable user feedback? Then you're a level 6. Level 7, the product is built for scale with additional offerings in progress. Now, so yeah, that's the product iteration part. So you can tell people this feature coming soon, that feature coming soon. But more importantly, can your website or product or platform take 1 million people? Build for scale, right? In tech, you need to be able to do it in such a way that if 1,000 people are on your site at the same time, it doesn't crash. If 5,000 people are on your site at the same time, it doesn't crash. If 1 million people are on your site, it shouldn't crash, right? People that are using Twitter every day are like in the tens of hundreds of millions, and we still manage to all send our tweets, see our DMs, and all of that. So your product needs to be built for scale in that regard, and you need to be able to tell them coming soon, right? You see, the platforms you use, the apps you use are always sending out updates, right? So that kind of thing is what you need to be able to do. Do you know what the next update is? Do you know what the next big thing is? I mean, I know that this is an early stage accelerator, so early stages yet, but these are things that you need to begin to think about. Now, level 8 of product is strong customer feedback in multiple markets. So for product, when you're in one market, like with all of the feedback and all of that, it's still pretty much a level 7. So when you enter multiple markets, it's when you start to like understand that your product is finally in its final form, where old people are using it just as well as young people. And they're all giving you feedback, and you have strong customer presence, and they all understand how to use the product, and like there's a you kind of like a unification of vision, like I said when we're talking about vision. That's a level 8. Strong customer product feedback in multiple markets, right? Not just from like the young people, because then your product is still like targeted towards a single market. Is a 17-year-old able to use as well as an 18-year-old, as well as a 35-year-old, as well as a 65-year-old with a phone or with access to your product? Then yes, you are at level 8. Level 9, the product is recognized as top in the industry. That's self-explanatory. So where do you fall? Level 1 to 9 in your product, in your tech. Do you understand how like you're going to achieve like all of those levels? Where are you right now? And with your next efforts, where will you be? Right? And then we move on to market. Level 1. And I think I've done a lot of build up towards the market, that I think that for the market we're just going to go through it really quickly, because as a startup founder, like this is the most important thing that you have to have knowledge of. So I'll just take questions from unique startups so that we can figure like the levels out. Team can clearly articulate total addressable market, the percentage they will capture, and the initial target market. There's three things in level 1: the total addressable market. And don't say 200 million people, it's not. The percentage you will capture realistically. So when you do figure out the market segment out of Nigerians as your total addressable market, right? Then you have to know what percentage can you realistically capture, you as a product, right? And who is the initial target market? Now, you can say there is 2 million people who fall into my total addressable market, and I can realistically capture 500,000 of them. But where do I start? What pocket of people do I start with? If you have those three things, level 1. Level 2, team understands any regulatory hurdles to entering the market and has a strategy to overcome them. So, in addition to those three things, what are the regulatory requirements for your industry? I'm laughing because I have some experience with that, and it took a lot of learning, and we all learn at different paces. But if you can do it before, that's really cool, right? So, do you have a strategy to overcome the regulatory hurdles in your place, especially if you are going into fintech? What is your strategy? Partnerships, buying your own license, piggybacking, just like figure one out, one that is defensible, and then go for it. That's level 2. Level 3, there has to be initial evidence through some sales that your team can capture the market. Can you capture the initial target market? Because if you tell people I can capture like for like the first year 100,000 people between the ages of 18 and 35, as a level 3 person, you have to have some of them to like validate the hypothesis. That's really important. Level 4, evidence of a $1 billion plus total addressable market. Now we get into the numbers. Why should I believe you that your business is a $1 billion business? You need to show me that the market is really worth that. And if you're talking to savvy investors, you're not going to be able to get away with it by just writing a billion in your deck. You need to be able to prove it using data and research. Like how I tell you that there is 100 million Nigerians living on less than $1 a day, right? McKinsey has told us now, so you have to breed stats. McKinsey tells us that out of 37 million households in Nigeria, only 2 million of them can afford 10,000 annually, right? We have that problem. The what's their name? I really forgotten the name of this agency that has told us that of all the money in the banks, the top 3% own like 80% of it. And we also know that if you earn 300K, you're in the top 3% of Nigerians. So I have all these stats in my left hand and my right hand and wherever, because these are stats I need to be able to prove my market to my investors. What are your stats? And What is the proof of the worth of your market? Because I can prove that even with that 2 million, $10,000 number, this is still an above $1 billion market. Can you prove that for your sector, for your total addressable market? Can you prove that? How did you arrive there? Can you properly present it and defend it to local and international investors? If you can and you have evidence, then you're at the level 4 in your market, right? Level 5, your team is having strategic conversations with strategic partners to capture their market faster, cheaper than the competition. So level 5 will mean you figured out your distribution channels, right? You can continue to Instagram advertise, Twitter advertise, and but the most important thing to understand about capturing markets is it's easier to do one to many, right? So how can you do it in such a way that you speaking to one person captures you hundreds of people? That those are strategic conversations that your team needs to be able to have figured out. And if you haven't figured out who those people are, it's okay. It just means you're not at this level yet and you need to get there. So that's what level 5 really is. Strategic conversations with partners to capture their market faster, cheaper, and the competition. Level 6, supply distribution partners see their success aligned with your company's success. Now, you can have conversations with strategic partners, but how and why, where is the give and take, right? I can go to a GT Bank and say partner with me, but what's the value to GT Bank, right? Can your company offer value to a much larger company? That's level 7. Sorry, level 6, right? If your company cannot offer value to a larger company, then there's a problem with your distribution and you need to figure that out, right? Level 8, your sales cycles, right, meet or exceed industry standard. That means you are doing and growing better with sales and with growth than every other person at your level. And it's incredibly hard to get to that point, but I think that like it's achievable for startups. So at level 7, your sales cycles are meeting or exceeding the industry standard, which means that people are, for me, it's like how much are people saving on my platform, how much am I managing, how well and how fast is the company growing. For level 8, it's brand is now established with hard to beat partnerships and distribution and marketing and growth. That's the full form for market, right? People now know you. And like for instance, at Piggyvest, our goal is to become the digital financial warehouse, like for financial services for millennials, and the bridge to traditional institutions to millennials. So if a bank is trying to attract millennial market and thinks Piggyvest first, then we have won. So we're currently still kind of at the level 7 and pushing towards the level 8 to become an established brand, and so that we have these had to be partnerships that everyone knows that for distribution, marketing, and growth we're solid and we're the people to go to. And level 9 is clear line of sight to industry dominance. That's the goal for every startup in your market. Are you the dominant savings platform for millennials? Are you the dominant healthcare platform for millennials? Are you the dominant insurtech platform for millennials? If you are, then you're at level 9 and you've won your market. So rate yourself. What's the potential? What's the ROI? And what level are you currently now? So now we move on to business model. Business model is money talks, right? So to build a tech-enabled business, right? Tech is supposed to help you save energy, time, and resources. And that means that if your product is really saving people energy, time, and resources, they're willing to pay for it. But what's your model of collecting that money from them? How are you getting people to pay, right? And how much are you making? So level 1, team has identified an outline of a revenue model. That's easy and simple to understand. You've identified how you plan to make money, right? And that's really an important thing to think about when launching your product. When you launch it, I mean, it's great to say you want to launch something that helps people, but understand that investors are only giving you money so they can make money back, except it's a grant. So, how are you planning to make money? Have you identified it? Is it ready for you? And then level 2, your company can point to pricing and business models of similar products in the industry as evidence that your revenue assumptions hold. So, who is doing what you're doing, right? Who is making money the way you want to make money? Where's the data that proves that this revenue model is solid and will work? If you have all of those, then you are at the level 2. So, you can point to the pricing and business model of similar products in the industry. They don't have to be the same, just similar, as evidence that your pricing and business model actually works. Where is the willingness of the people? Level 3, The team can articulate projected costs along the value chain and target cost points to reach positive unit economics. So now you've identified the revenue model and you've shown this is why this revenue model works. Now, revenue is cost plus profit. So how do you reach profit? So can your team project the expected costs from end to end of your product that now leave you with a profit? That's simply what that means. So do you have a profit model, right? Do you have a cost structure that will eventually, not immediately, lead to a profit? So essentially, do you know your break-even point? That's the simple answer. If you do, you're at the level 3. Now, level 4, the team has built out a financial model with cost and revenue projections articulated with a strategy for hitting these projections. I don't think I need to explain that because like we're all hustling that. So yeah, do you have a financial model? 1. Do you have a cost and revenue projection model inside the financial model? Yes. And do you have a strategy for hitting these projections? If yes to all 3, you are at a level 4 and you're almost ready for, the next level. Level 5 is financial model with evidence of valid projections to reach positive unit economics. Now, projections, right, are typically based on value that is to come. But for you to be a level 5, you have to be projecting further now on historical things that have happened, right? So if you're saying we're going to be at 50 million at the end of 2019, it has to be if you're a level 5 because you hit say 25 million in 2018 and you know that you're growing what's it called 50% or 100% year on year, then your financial projections can then prove that. That's when you're a level 5. So you are building your model on valid evidence, right, to reach what's it called positive unit economics. Level 6, sales begin to gel with your projections. Evidence of decreasing customer acquisition cost with growing customer base paying the target price, right? So, are you hitting your projections steadily? Yes. Is your customer acquisition cost decreasing? Because you can hit your projections by increasing customer acquisition cost, but that's not what we're speaking about here. You need to be mapping out your projections, decreasing your customer acquisition cost, and growing your customer base with them paying that price, not discounted prices, the target price, right? So reducing CAC costs, people paying target price but growing, and your sales matching your projections, then you're at level 6. Level 7, validation of strong unit economics, profitability. That's all. So validated, projections validated, strong unit economics, strong positive unit economics. Is your business profitable? That's a level 7. Level 8, month on month revenue now is competitive on an industry level. Does your month on month revenue meet industry standards? That means you need to do research and have lots of evidence. If yes, level 8. Level 9, minimum of 2x revenue growth for multiple years, year on year, right? So are you growing every year times 2 of what you did last year? 25, 50, 100. And then you're at the level 9 because you're absolutely crushing it and maybe you'll be $1 trillion company like Apple, right? So that's what level 9 will be, right? Now, so where do you fall on the business model scale? And I want you guys to understand it's okay to still be at level 1 or level 2. It's just you need to be honest with yourself about where you are to be able to grow. Right? If you're not honest with yourself, then it means that you're lying to yourself, and then you're eventually lying to customers and to investors, and that's not a business anyone wants to get behind. So it's okay to be very self-aware and be conscious of where you fall, like on these levels, and then identifying what kind of things you can do to improve it. And that's what the comment section are for. How can you move from your ROI to what you've written down as your potential? Now, scale. Everyone knows scale. So, level 1 of scale. Your team has identified multiple markets or customer segments, and you have aspiration to grow into all of those. Right? You can start with millennials, but you know that these other market people are going to use your product, right? And you have plans for them to use it. Level 2. Level 2 is initial evidence that multiple markets experience this problem. So you can be like successful like at one like market level, but like scale is knowing the next market segment that has this problem and then going on to solve it for them. Have you been like do you have evidence that this problem that you're solving for millennials, the younger generation than millennials has it too, right? Or is it already solved for them? Or the problem that you're solving for Generation X, do millennials have it, right? Like existing products like say like they had feature phones, right? People who produce feature phones, like do millennials also need to use feature phones? The answer is yes, and they have evidence. We don't all have it. So that's like a scale level 2. A scale level 3 is a very clear cut strategy to move to multiple markets. Do you have that already? To move beyond, and it can be geographical or demographical, right? So is it to move from millennials to older people, or is it to move from Lagos to Abuja, or is it to move from Nigeria to Ghana? What is the strategy for that, right? And that involves a lot of research. What do they need that millennials did not need? Or is it the same custom made solution? Or do you need to build their own? Or should you even be expanding into those markets? That's kind of research you need to carry out. Scale level 4 is initial evidence that multiple types of customers find value in your solution or in an extension of the product that you are well positioned to develop. So now we have a savings platform, right? We know that millennials are the ones that have a savings problem. The older people are already more established, but we need to get them. So what did we do? Started investments. So that's an extension of the product that we were well positioned to move into and develop. So that's how you kind of have to look at it. Even if it's not the product you have right now, is it one that you can build and grow for the next market segment? That's scale level 4. Scale level 5, vision and initial evidence of positive unit economics in two markets. So is your vision validated in millennial market? Yes. Is it validated in older people market? Yes. Now, have you made profit in millennial market? Yes. Have you made profit in no, can you make profit in the next market, in the older people market? Yes. If you have those two and you're sure, and it doesn't have to be millennial and older people, it can be Nigeria and Ghana, or what's now, or Ghana and Kenya, or Lagos and Abuja, if they're so different. But like, let's be serious, demographical and geographical. So it's like, do they have the same problem that they have in Nigeria and Ghana? For instance, for my platform, Kenya is dicey because they have Safaricom and M-Pesa. So can I validate positive unit economics in Kenya? Not yet. So I'm not yet at scale level 5. So that's how you kind of have to look at it. Vision and positive unit economics validated in two markets, two distinct unique markets. Scale level 6 is company has cleared all regulatory challenges and is implementing a strong IP strategy. Defensibility. So now that you've validated in two markets, how are you going to make sure that other people don't copy you and go into those two markets as well? That's your IP strategy. So you need to make sure that you are not what's it called, in a place where you can be scooped or taken like advantage of after you've already discovered all the kinds of all the ways of succeeding in those two markets. So that's what. And then like regulation, as big, when you start getting big, you need to be able to prove and make sure that people or regulation, right, cannot take you out of the market. Can you grow like the way you want to without being in violation of any or every regulation in your sector? Now, scale level 7, evidence of strong unit economics across multiple markets. Unit economics need to be positive. Now, not just two this time. Can you make money across multiple markets? See Uber. Well, Uber is not making money, it's a bad example. Let me see. All companies international and making money. Apple. I'm sorry, it's just like them. They're like, or Amazon. Amazon delivers to like almost all the 150 countries in the world, and Amazon is profitable. And it's in multiple customer segments because everybody knows and uses Amazon. So that kind of thing is the evidence of strong unit economics across multiple markets. Do you have that? Then you're at scale level 7. Scale level 8 Growth of customer base accelerates month on month, not grows, accelerates, right? Not like grows like month on month or anything like that. Like, is it growing like 50, acceleration for like tech is usually like 50 to 80% month on month because your product is so global, right? And scale level 9 is strong unit economics for multiple customer segments. Now that's the people, not the geographies or anything. The people, the demographics. Are you making money from every single person, right? And that's where the evidence is. That's your scale level 9. And when we're done with this, I'll then explain to you in investor readiness terms what kind of like investments that you can close at this level, right? So where do you fall on scale? A lot of us are early stage, so we're still at the beginnings, but that's okay. We will all get to level 9 and all become these behemoths, right? But the point is to be able to know how to get from 1 to 9. So where are you right now, and where can you be with your next effort? And so that's what you need to fill into your sheets right now. And then the last thing is exits. And I know everyone is looking forward to this. We've had a couple of exits in the Nigerian tech ecosystem. Look at Rock to Canal Plus, Amplify Pay to Carbon. And we're going to have more. We need to have more. But we have companies now raising like tens of millions of dollars in the tech ecosystem, and that didn't used to happen before. And so we're having promising goals of exits in Nigeria, and that's really dope. So exit level 1. Does the team understand what an exit is and has a vision for how they will ultimately provide a return for their investment? So I think you can all say you are sufficiently at the level 1 right now, maybe until I explain the other two, because I just explained what an exit is to you guys. M and A, well, IPO. So a merger, an acquisition, or an IPO. Those are what like how you can exit, right? So exit level 2. A vision for growth has companies solving a large piece of the global problem in 10 years. Now, if your company understands exit, right, another way to actually make money for your investors is to build such a large company that the investment in your company becomes liquid and people can trade their shares as they want. So, level 2 is if your vision for growth involves a company solving that large piece of that problem in 10 years, that means that like you have a clear path towards existing long enough to be attractive for either of those four options, right? Now, level 3, initial evidence for exit that the solution already solves the problem better than any incumbent. If you're at scale level 3 and there's evidence that your product is solving the problem better than any of the existing people, know that you are properly positioned for an exit already, because at some point it might be easier for the incumbents to acquire you than actually build their own, right? So evidence, proper evidence and data that you're doing better, and don't lie to yourself. This needs to be very clear that you're doing it better than the people who you met in the market. Now, exit level 4. Evidence of growth trajectory that could lead to IPO, acquisition, or a self-liquidating exit. This is an introspection for co-founders. Do you think you're on the path to an IPO, acquisition, or a self-liquidating exit? So, I said an IPO, acquisition, or a merger. A self-liquidating exit is your company growing so large that people can begin to trade their shares. So, do you think there's evidence that your company could grow that large? Then you're at a level 4. Level 5, interest from large partners, large companies. So at level 5, you already have people offering to buy you, right? So is that where you are? Get multiple offers to buy you or to buy you or to merge with you. People who want to acquire or acquire outright. Do you already have those offers? That's level 5. Exit level 6, the team has identified specific acquirers or other exit environments. So that means it's clear to you who it is. This is not just random offers. You know who it will probably be. Maybe like 3 options, or you have a clear path towards an IPO, like 2 more years, or 3 more years, or 5 more years. Then you're at the level 5. Levels like at the level 6, because that means you know that, oh no, we're going towards IPO with the way we're growing, or this company is going to be so large that investors can just like sell back to us and we'll buy back from them, or this company is going to buy us. I know it, not just because like you're saying you know it, but because they've approached you multiple times and their interest is pretty solid and proven, like a letter of intent, right? Exit level 7. Team has strong relationship with multiple acquirers. right? Are you already talking to these people? Are you grabbing beers? Are you laughing? Are you hanging out? Are you having business conversations with these people? Is it clear that this will happen? Right? That's exit level. That's exit level 7. Exit level 8. Team has turned down at least one acquisition offer. Right. So that means you have so many options that you are turning one down. That's exit level 8. And exit level 9, growth exit. Right. So is it self-liquidating already? Have you achieved IPO, or have you gotten an M&A that you will definitely go in with? So where are you on the exit level? Are you early? Are you late? Are you where you need to be as a company? What's your potential and what's the ROI? So ROI is where you are right now. Potential is where you will be with your next effort, right? Your next minimal effort, right? So and that's where you need to be. So you need to rate that. And if you guys have any questions, please let me know. So now, now there's like obviously investor readiness, right? This is what this is all about. So for the level that you're at, there is different kinds of funding to expect for the level that you're at. So if you have mostly level 1, 2, 3, or even 4, your sources of funding are most likely going to be angel or seed funding accelerators, family or friends or bootstrapping, or grants for research and development, right? So mostly level 1, mostly level. In fact, level 1 is just like family and friends and bootstrapping because you're still really, really early. So if you are in SLA, it means you're probably at a mostly level 2, 3, or 4, which is both family and friends, grants, angel or seed funding, right? And just like angel investors who believe in your business, seed funding accelerators who give anywhere from 25K to 100K, like the one you're in, friends and family who believe in your business, or you bootstrapping and putting your money into it and applying for grants, like from foundations who believe in the work that you're doing. If you are at mostly level 5, then you will be closing rounds with angel investors and early stage venture capital institutional VCs. For anywhere from ventures platform to Echo VC, those are the local ones, to ones outside of the country. Mostly level 6, you'll be closing institutional VC for market sales and expansion, right? So mostly level 6 will be going towards their Series A round, right? Like this is a growth round, so you're no longer at seed or even bridge or any of all those things. You're at Series A if you're mostly level 6. And mostly level 7 and 8 is anywhere from Series B to wherever you decide to stop, right? So you're closing now VC for recurring revenue and growth, right? So this is really about like pushing the growth beyond bounds, doing research for new lines of product, Series C, B, E, whatever, right? And if you are mostly level 9, you are no longer raising funds and you're ready to be acquired. So I hope you guys have learned something from this. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Or you need any materials for more clarity, please let me know. Um, Again, my name is Odunayo. Thank you so much for listening. I hope it wasn't too long. And I hope you actually gained something from the class. Thank you so much.